Hello, this is Katosheva Thomas once again to present my artificial intelligence project whereby we use machine learning. My project is called the Students Results Prediction Project. What it does simply is predict a student's results according to a student's certain attributes. Yeah, we can start. So these are the contents of today's presentation. Yeah, so introduction. Mainly, mainly here I'll just be introducing you to what we'll be going through for this session. We shall start with, after the introduction, we shall start with talking about the problem statements, the related works, all the different things that we have to go through today, the methodology. Mainly that's what we have to do. For the introduction, I'd like to start with the problem itself. The problem is in terms of focus towards academic lives of students. People have had their minds distracted and they have been moved towards the wrong paths, therefore having a less focus towards their academic lives. Because there have been so many different things that have been happening in the world lately. There has been COVID, so many different things have been happening. Actually, after COVID, a number of different things have been happening. Very many things happen that actually make someone to lose focus towards their initial goals. And in this case, it would be academic, it would be in terms of their academics. So what in the introduction, what I'll tell you is that what's about simply is about us finding a way to use machine learning to solve such a problem. The problem statement, as I mentioned earlier, problem is in terms of educational academic focus, really. We need to find a way to promote academic focus. We need to find a way to keep it strong so that students actually know what they want at the end of the day when they're done with their education. So the problem really is with the focus. And also there are different things in a country like Uganda, a number of schools that actually have inappropriate methods of teaching students. And it's really discouraging. So with this project, we're able to use machine learning to predict someone's results so that we can tell whether we are going the right path or not, so that we can respond accordingly from what the machine learning system has given us. So the related works, such a project has been done by very many different institutions all over the world. Most of these projects I actually got them from articles which are in the references at the end of these slides. Different people want to find a way of how to use the data that they obtain from education institutions, and they want to use it to get a purposeful outcome, a purposeful result. So what they do in these other works that are actually related to what I'm also doing is using data, then learning from the data in order to, well, get to find a way to improve on the experience of students in their academic lives, improve on the education, to improve on the methods that are to be used, the techniques that are used in institutions, so that we get the best education that we can for the students. So in terms of related works, it has been actually done in different countries, but I'll actually be focusing on those that work towards the use of machine learning because that's my focus for today. Then the methodology is actually similar under machine learning. So you can start with data collection, getting the data. It would be like getting the data from a data set. Data exploration, that can be through like that data exploration really refers to like getting to understand the data. You can do this through different diagrams actually, like heat maps, correlation matrices, and so on. Then data preparation, that's like making the data perfect for modifying it for the model that is to be used. This can be done through splitting the data. Modeling, that would be getting the perfect model, the appropriate model to use for the data that you have, so that you get the right results. In this case, this is a regression problem, by the way. It's not classification. Regression is whereby we're trying to find out the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables. And also evaluation, whereby we evaluate the model to see whether it's giving us the results that we actually want. So the scope of the project is towards the educational community of the world, comprised of students, the teachers, the parents of the students, and the academic institution. An academic institution itself, it's really basing on education of the people. The dataset description, the dataset is, I got the dataset from the UCI machine learning repository. It consists of 33 attributes of 649 instances of students from two Portuguese secondary schools. Yeah, so I got to consider the data was, it was quite accurate because the source where I got it from was reliable, and I knew this was what I wanted to use for this project. Target attribute in this case is the final exam mark, because here we use these different attributes to get to predict and find out what a student's final exam mark would be basing on their different attributes. So accountability, of course, had to be considered in this case. Accountability really refers to ensuring that a decision made by AI system itself are proper, reliable, not beyond, not illegal, actually. Something that is allowed, accepted by the human society. That's what I would say in accountability. And I had to ensure this by monitoring how the operation, how the project operates, the performance of the model, also using a reliable data for this model. That's how I had to ensure AI accountability, because in such a way, we need to have something that's acceptable by the community. The results that I got, I was able to use different models, because regression can be done by different models. I used a decision tree, a random forest, linear regression, support vector machine, and the k-nearest neighbors. I got to realize that actually the k-nearest neighbor has at least mean absolute error. Yeah, we used the mean absolute error because it was the metric that we used, the evaluation metric we used for this case that I used actually, because it's a regression problem. So mean absolute error would be better compared to precision recall, because that's mainly for classification problems, but here we're dealing with a regression problem. So my conclusion from all this is that I got to learn that you can utilize data with different models and use the data to come up with outcomes, come up with predictions. Yeah, I also got to learn that we could use different models actually, and the fact that I compare different models, I got to learn that different models have different levels of performance. Actually, when it comes to performance, the main considerations are the data you're using, the model you are using, and the problem you're actually trying to solve. That's what you should consider when you try and look at performance and comparison, because here actually different models act differently. They have different performances in different situations. In this case, the KNN had actually the best performance, because it had the least mean absolute error. That's what we used there. And yeah, it was actually, it has the least absolute error of 0.93. Yeah, so that was actually good. And these are the references that I would like give you. I'm going to put a link to the dataset itself, and also a link to my notebook that I used to go through this project. Yeah, the references, I got them from the IEEE website. They're actually mostly articles that are basing on students' results and machine learning. Yeah, different, as I said, these are actually the related works. People look at data they get from these different things, and they use the data they get from education institutions, and they use the data to actually get different results, to get outcomes, to learn things, to understand how the educational world is. Thank you for listening to me. This is Kato Trevor Thomas. This is my project.